Hey everybody, I wanted to come on here and do another video that kind of goes over what myself and other people think what procedure Trump might have had done over the weekend. Before I get to that, if I could ask everybody to like, comment, and share the video. Not that I have a huge following, but I think I'm being kind of shadow banned and not put out there very much for obvious reasons. So if you see this and if you get something out of it, please do all of the things so that it gets put out to as many people as possible. I will try to make this as short as possible. It's just kind of, there's a lot of information, so I will try to get it all out there and into this one video as shortly as in as short a time as I can. So what myself and several others think he possibly had done was had an LVAD placed, which is a left ventricular assistive device. And as its name suggests, it helps his left ventricle of his heart pump more efficiently and work better. So a couple things you need to know in regards to this there are three types of congestive heart failure. There is left ventricular, right ventricular, and biventricular. It's pretty self-explanatory. Left ventricular means the left side isn't working, right side means the right side isn't working, and the biventricular means that neither side is working well. When someone gets an LVAD, typically they are doing it for short term. Short term, maybe waiting to try to get a heart transplant, which we've already discussed he is not a good candidate for due to his age, his already poor health, and his non-compliance with his diet and exercise. Some people can do really well on them and last for years on them, but generally it's people who are early stage congestive heart failure, and it's only on the left side. When you have left side congestive heart failure, you typically only see shortness of breath and fatigue. When you're looking at right side, you're going to see the leg swelling, you're going to see abdominal swelling, and there will be issues with the liver. Now, of course, we've seen the leg swelling. He already kind of had a belly, so that's going to be a little bit harder to tell, and of course we can't tell with the liver. But he also has had the shortness of breath and the fatigue, so very likely what we're looking at is biventricular. And people, by and large, when they're put on an LVAD and they have biventricular congestive heart failure, they don't do very well. You're looking at weeks to months of longevity before you pass away, you die. Also, with an LVAD, it is not a fix-all and it is extremely risky. Some of the risks are blood clots, strokes, infection, cognitive changes, which of course that's going to be very hard to tell with him based on where we're starting. You have arrhythmias, hypoperfusion, which just means that it does not pump enough, and that leads to not enough blood flow, which can also damage other organs. So the other thing is that even if he only had left side congestive heart failure, the pump itself, the assistive device, can actually put extra stress on the right side, which can cause the right side to then give out. So again, typically it's only to wait for a transplant or to give a short amount of time of survival past what they would without it. They require constant and heavy medical intervention. He would still need to be on the Lasix. He would still need to be on blood thinners. He would still need to be on possibly steroids. And of course, with, all of those things, he could still have blood clots, strokes, bleeding risks if he were to get a small cut or anything like that. And the steroids also can make someone immunocompromised, so it makes it easier for them to get an illness. So it does not come without risks, and it is not a cure-all or a fix-all. It is to buy short amounts of time only in most cases. The other thing is that it needs to have constant, it has to have batteries, or it needs to be plugged in. So you're going to have people going to have to keep up on that. People are going to have to keep watch on that. So he's going to need a lot of medical intervention, constant monitoring, and it's not easy. It's not an easy device to walk around with, especially if you're trying to do it for a long time. So again, I just tried to put all of that in there very quickly. Um, so again, LVAD for short-term use, especially when you've got both sides of the heart affected, blood clots, strokes, arrhythmias, bleeding, infection, cognitive changes, excess, stress on the rest of the body. And so it really honestly does not change his outlook or outcome very much from what it already was. And judging based on how he looked at the press conference, I still think we're looking at him looking terrible. His eyes look very swollen. People noticed his cheekbones looking either very swollen, or it's possible it was bruising that they were trying to cover up with the makeup. Um, so that's possibly he could have had CPR if he had had a massive incident, but man, they would have had to have pumped him up really good for him to get through that press conference. So I don't know that that's necessarily anything that happened, but the LVAD is the most likely candidate for what he had done this weekend, and that's where he stands. It doesn't change his prognosis really. And if you guys have any questions for me, please leave them in the comments. I will try to answer them as many as I can before I get cut off by TikTok. And yeah, again, just please like, comment, share, send it out so that as many people get this information as want it. Okay? All right, guys, talk to you soon.